Do you know, I found out today that the term "how to be happy" gets searched in Google nearly 250,000 times per month. And when you throw in related search terms like how to find happiness, how to live a happy life, how to find fulfillment, we are talking millions upon millions of searches per month, every single month, from people all over the world. So I want to share a little story of my own personal experience that really think can help get this in perspective. Now, I started my first online business in September 2016 because I was trapped in a corporate career. I was successful by society standards, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. I didn't want to be trading my time for money working for someone else, and I wanted to be, I wanted to be free. I wanted to travel, and I wanted to be doing things that I was passionate about instead of sitting behind a desk. So started my first online business because I wasn't happy. And the story that I was telling myself when I started was that when I find that freedom, time, financial, geographical freedom, when I create the result that I want, when I can travel, then I'll be happy. Then I'll, have everything that I want in my life, and life will be amazing and wonderful. And by September 2017, so 12 months later, I'd achieved that result. I'd found time, financial and geographical freedom. I was getting the result in my business that I was looking towards or looking for, and started traveling. And for the first 6 months, life was amazing. I ended up getting rid of my flat in the UK and just going on this adventure all around America, across Australia, then into 2018 went all across Europe, and then went latter half of 2018 all across Asia, like Vietnam, Thailand, Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Hong Kong, China, so on and so forth. And it's just this big adventure all across the world. Now, what's the point of this story? So the point is that by most people's standards, from the outside, it might have looked like I'm living this dream life. I have a business that's running automatically, it's generating revenue, doesn't matter whether I'm awake, doesn't matter whether I'm asleep, I can work from anywhere in the world from my laptop. I'm seeing all these places. And yet by the latter half of 2018, I felt less happy then than I did when I first started my business, and I spent 14-hour days just sitting behind a desk in my dingy flat in Portsmouth. And the point is this, right? So if you imagine the average person who's, let's say they're in a war-torn country, and they've just had to experience terrible things that their family's gone through, and I'm not even going to say some of the stuff, but you get the picture. There can be some pretty horrible experiences that people have to endure. Now imagine that they could have the chance to live our lives in our first world country, where we are we're in this job that we're saying is terrible, and it's frustrating and driving us crazy, and we want to get out, and we think it's the worst thing in the world. Now imagine that somebody coming from that war-torn country could live our first world lives with our health benefits and our roof over our head and our clean running water. That could be to them the most incredible dream come true that you could possibly imagine. And yet to us, seems like the worst thing ever, right? And so my perspective, I'm traveling the world, I'm living this life that from the outside, looks like everything is fantastic, and that's what I told myself when I when I achieved that. Everything would be wonderful, everything would be fantastic. And yet I'm living this life, and as soon as it becomes the baseline, which after about 6 months of traveling it did, it's just the norm, it's just normal life. And then you start looking for the next thing and the next thing. And so the point and the realization that I had as a result of this is that it's nothing more than a perspective. If one person could see a certain situation as the most amazing dream come true, and another person could see exactly the same situation as the worst thing ever, it's a perspective. And you know what? Let's take it even a stage further. If you've ever had a near-death experience, or let's say you've had a horrible illness and you've just been basically on death's door, it's just you've just wished that you could have your health back, you're bedridden for weeks on end, you know, whatever it is, if you've had something pretty serious happen to you, how amazing does it feel when you just get back to full health? And yet, after a few months, we forget why it felt so incredible to be in good health. Because the perspective is different. We're no longer looking at it through the lens of, oh my God, I've just gone through this terrible health crisis. I'm so grateful and so glad to be waking up every morning and I can get out of bed and I feel wonderful and great and thank, you know, God bless the world that I have this health. But we lose that and we forget about that. And so this is it. If happiness and how we see the world, if happiness is a result of our perspective of how we're seeing the world, then happiness is absolutely a choice. Happiness is a result of nothing more than how we choose to see the world. That's it. And the good thing about that is it's absolutely within our power to change the way that we see the world. So if we're not happy with how things are, the lesson here is that if we're looking for something outside of ourselves to change in order for us to be happy, then as soon as that change, even if it does come into our life, as soon as that change becomes the norm, we're just going to repeat the same pattern and start looking for the next thing in order for us to become happy. Because if we're not happy with what we've got, but there's somebody who's worse off than us who would love what we've got, then the perspective is that we're choosing to see the thing that we have in a light where we're not grateful for it. And this isn't, I'm not preaching, right? I don't want this to come across as me like, you know, preaching this is how you should see the world, because I've made the same mistakes multiple times. And again, I've had this realization now, but no doubt I'll catch myself thinking the same patterns again. I'll be like, oh, if only I had this other thing, then things would be easier, then things would be better, then I could achieve X result. If I just had X, then I could achieve Y, or then I'd feel happy. You know, anytime we're running that pattern, we've got to interrupt ourselves and recognize we're choosing that perspective. And it's that perspective which is causing us to feel unhappy. And so the way to solve this and get around this is, number one, become aware that we're doing it. Right? Number one, recognize that we're running this pattern and that it's our thoughts that is creating the emotion within our body. And then number two, whatever you're doing, just stop and go, no. What 3 things can I be grateful of in my life right now? What can I be grateful of? And you just list 3 things. Think of 3 things that you are grateful for and that you are happy for. And when you start feeling gratitude, you start bringing that emotion into your body, suddenly, lo and behold, the way that we look at the world, the way that we look at our situation, the way that we look at our shit job that we hate, the way that we look at the people in our life that are pissing us off and driving us crazy, you know, the way that we see these things, the more you practice feeling gratitude, the more the way that we see those things will start to change. And then funnily enough, the more that we start to look at the world through a different lens and with a different perspective, the more we're going to start to see different results in our life. Because when we're looking at the world through a lens of gratitude and appreciation, more things are going to come into our life in line with that energy that we're putting out there. Where focus goes, energy flows. We reap what we sow, right? We've got to start looking at things in our lives through a perspective of gratitude and appreciation. When we do that, the results that we achieve, the things that happen in our lives are going to start to change in line with how we see the world. So if you want the answer to the question of how to be happy, just choose to start being happy. Choose to look at what you can be happy about in the world, and you'll start to see that there's a lot to be happy about within the world.